On this episode of Left Off the Map, we're doing a roast chicken. Henry's heading to the east coast of Tasmania to Craigie Knowe Vineyard, and I'm making some duck fat roast potatoes. One thing a cook gets asked a lot about is how do you do the best roast potatoes? And my nan used to make roast potatoes and they were fantastic. And I've always tried to get them close to what my nan used to be able to do. I find the best way to do that is to use duck fat. So I'm going to do some duck fat potatoes. Talk you through a little bit of science that goes with creating the best roast potatoes or the best duck fat potatoes. There is a little bit of science that goes with it. Now we're going to par cook them. A lot of people do twice cooked, 3 times cooked potatoes. We're going to cook these twice. We're going to par cook them in boiling water to start with. So I've got to get them peeled. You want a good roasting potato. A good roasting potato is something that is going to have a lot of starch in it. So you get waxy potatoes and roasting potatoes normally. Waxy potatoes are good for things like salads, potato salads and things like that. And as the name suggests, they have a waxy feel, a waxy mouthfeel, a waxy texture to them. And then a starchy potato has a lot of starch in the potato itself, and that's how you create the crispiness of a roast potato. It's that starch on the outside that you end up crisping up. So you want a nice starchy potato. So do a check before you go to the supermarket, find out what the best, or even when you get to the supermarket, you should be able to ask someone there at the market, what is the best roasting potato you can get, or the best starchy potato you can get. So I'm just gonna peel these. You can leave the skin on if you want to and do more of a crushed potato or a smashed potato, but I'm gonna go skin off. I'm gonna peel all these and then chop them up into the size that you want the potato to be. So I'm gonna go for something quite small and get more surface area. So something like that sort of size. So a bite-sized piece of potato. So chop our potatoes up, pop them in boiling, or you should start potatoes in cold water. I say boiling water before, but start potatoes in cold water and then bring the temperature in to the potato. Once you've got it to the boil, put the lid on, turn it off, and then you want them to be slightly tender, so just soft, soft enough that when you strain the water off and you shake the potatoes in the pot, you're going to break up the outside, and that's where we start to form a lot of starch on the outside of our potato. You want to cook the potatoes until you can pierce them with a knife pretty easily. So that, I'll try and grab one so you can have a look. So you can see where it's been cooked. Around the outside, it's still firm in the middle, but that outside has been cooked enough that we're going to be able to break it up. So I'll strain these potatoes and then give them a really good shake with the lid on, and you'll see that starch start to come off the outside. You can see on the knife here where we've been cutting the potato, this white residue that's left on the knife, that's the starch that we're trying to get out of the potato on the outside of the potato so that we can crisp it up. And moisture is the enemy of a nice crispy potato. So you want to let this dry out as much as you possibly can, strain it as well as you can, and then let it steam and dry out. So we're going to break them up in the pot, get them onto a roasting tray so we can let them dry out on that roasting tray. So lid on, give them a good shake. You'll see they've started to break up on the outside, and that broken up pieces of potato which have got the starch in it, that's what's going to go all crispy. So that every potato has that starch sitting around the outside and is broken up. One more shake. All right, they can come out into our roasting tray and just let them dry out as best we possibly can. Spread them out. All that steam coming off is moisture out of our potatoes. And like I said, moisture is the enemy. You want them to be nice and light and fluffy inside, and the best way that you're going to do that is by drying out the potato as much as you possibly can. While it's steaming, let it sit there and do its thing. Once that steam has stopped, we can add our duck fat and get them into the oven. The steam has finished coming off our potatoes, which means they've dried out as much as they're going to. So now we have to put them through the roasting process. Duck fat. One of the other things that duck fat's really good for is practicing quenelles. So if you are someone who wants to learn how to quenelle, duck fat is a really good texture to practice quenelles. All right, you want a decent amount of duck fat. We'll pop that in, put it in the oven for about 5 minutes, allow that duck fat to melt, and then I'll bring them out and give them another shake, just so everything gets coated with that duck fat. And then roast them at about 180 to 200 degrees for about 35 to 45 minutes. And you'll watch them go golden and crispy while they're in there. Give them a season. This is where you can add seasonings if you want to. If you want to put some rosemary salt or thyme salt or something like that, you can do that. So I'll give that 5 minutes in the oven, bring it out, give it a little shake so it's nicely coated, and then back into the oven. My potatoes have been in the oven for close to an hour now. I turned them up right at the end there to 210. Check on them and bring them out. So starting to colour, which is great. Give them another stir around to coat them in that duck fat. And they'll probably go in for another 10 more minutes just to finish them off. So that there is where you want them to end up. So that nice golden colour, nice and hard on the outside. And you can almost, just by feeling that, you can feel it's nice and light and fluffy on the inside as well. So you've got that crispy gold colour on the outside and a light fluffy potato on the inside. So pop them back in, keep it at that high temperature now, just to finish them off and give them some colour. And then they'll be ready. Now, while these duck fat roast potatoes roast in the oven, we'll head off to visit Henry Terry on the east coast of Tasmania at Craigie Knowe Vineyard.
Well, we're right in the heart of wine country on the east coast of Tassie at Craigie Knowe?
Craigie Knowe, yes.
Knowe. Glenn, can you tell me a little bit about Craigie Knowe? Where did that name come from?
So Craigie Knowe, it's actually the property name, and it's been the property name since 1836.
Yep.
So we bought the business back in 2013.
Yep.
So we've now been here for 8.5 years.
Okay.
And it's been a interesting time.
And you started the vineyard when you took over the property?
No, actually, the vineyard's been here since 1979.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was started by a Hobart dentist, and that was John Oswick.
And how's you guys have sort of really, I suppose, recently come on the scene, and I know there's been a lot of chat amongst my friends about Craigie Knowe, but you're very famous for your Cab Sav.
Correct.
Tell me what makes it so special.
Well, Cabernet is not that well known in Tasmania, but we're lucky here on the east coast. We have one of the warmest areas for growing grapes.
Yeah.
And so it actually ripens really nicely, but it's a slow, cool ripening. So we're not picking our Cabernet until the first week of May.
Right.
Compare that to Coonawarra or Hunter, they're finished by the first week of February.
Right.
So slow, cool ripening really develops all those lovely full flavours slowly over time, and it just makes a really elegant wine. Okay. It's not a big slap you in the face Cabernet, it's actually quite smooth.
Okay, there you go. And people talk about terroir.
Yes.
What is it about the East Coast and Craigie Knowe that winemakers, they talk about getting basically that the geography into a glass.
Yep.
It's like, what are you tasting with your wines here?
I think you're tasting sunshine.
Sunshine. Makes sense.
You know, the soils certainly play a significant part to make great wine, but microclimates are just as important. And we just ripen our fruit just beautifully.
Yeah, okay.
Never rush anything.
Beautiful. And so, rum, can we do a tasting?
Of course we can.
Yeah.
What a
awesome.
good idea.
Wait. Beautiful.
We should start with the Riesling.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I'll let you do the pouring.
Okay. Well, I suppose I should tell you a little bit about this.
Yes, that'd be great.
This is our 2021 Riesling.
Yeah.
It is a really good example of Tassie Riesling.
Okay.
Full of fruit, full of flavour. It's a lovely fresh wine. It does finish nice and crisp.
Yeah.
And it works really well with seafood or oysters.
Okay, so Pinot Noir, this is a Tassie favourite.
It is a Tassie favourite.
Can you tell me, what is it about Pinot Noir, like why is Tassie so good and renowned for this variety of wine? I know Cab Sav's your thing, but...
Yeah. No, well, the reason Pinot works so well is because it's a true cool climate grape. Okay. And it's the same with the Riesling, Pinot Gris, Chardonnay.
Yep.
So all those wines that Tasmania is known for, Sauvignon Blanc, they're all cool climate wines.
Yep.
They just love cool climate. It's once again, it's that slow, cool ripening.
Yep.
And it's really gentle, and it just allows the fruit to fill its flavour.
There's a lot of talk amongst winemakers and like they're coming down to Tassie to actually create Pinots, and because of global warming as well. Is that an actual phenomenon that you're seeing happening in the industry?
Absolutely. Every major winery has vineyards in Tasmania.
Yep.
So Brown Brothers have Devil's Corner and Tamar Ridge.
Yep.
Treasury Wine Estates, they're growing down here, but they don't have any cellar door. Yalumba or Samuel Smith, they've got Jance. You know, they've just developed another 200 hectares of vines down in the Coal River Valley. Then we've got Bird in Hand, have just bought 70 hectares up the road from here.
Okay, it's all happening.
It's all happening. Yeah. You've got to be down here because at 40-degree plus in the Barossa and Hunter, McLaren Vale, the vines start to shut down.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I'd shut down quick too.
Yeah. And so, they are coming down here. They're basically future-proofing themselves. Yeah. We just hope that they don't go into that mass market.
Yeah.
Like Tasmania, we've got premium wines.
Yep.
We do achieve premium prices.
Yep.
And so they shouldn't destroy that.
Don't want to dilute the quality that's here. Yeah.
And 55% of all wine in Tasmania is Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Now, either as a table wine or as sparkling.
Okay. Yeah. So, Glenn, people coming to Craigie Knowe, what can you offer here? Other than your wine tasting, of course, in an absolutely cracking spot.
So, well, we're pretty lucky here. We've got a large cellar door. We can seat 58 people inside.
Yeah. And
then we've got this wonderful area outside, which is all grassed. We can sit about 100 people out here.
Yeah.
And on beautiful days, well, like today, it's just magnificent sitting outside. The dogs are cruising around here. There's one under the table here.
They're very friendly.
Oh, they're very friendly. Yes.
Yeah. Are they after? Do they want friendship or are they after the wine? I'm not really sure.
Well, I think they want both. Yeah. As long as people come and talk to us and say, "Hey, we've got a dog. Can we bring him in?" Absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
So we do platters here and cheese boards, of course. The other thing that we've got, which is quite interesting, we actually have an on-site patisserie.
Patisserie?
Patisserie.
At a vineyard?
At a vineyard, absolutely. And
I've never heard of that before.
It's just divine. The cakes, the desserts, just wonderful.
Okay. Oh, I'll have to check that out as well.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time, Glenn. It's great to learn a little bit about Craigie Knowe, and if you're ever stopping by, it's just a ripping spot right in the middle of the East Coast wine sort of region. There's a few of you around now that are absolutely schmick. You could really spend a good weekend or two just
Oh, absolutely.
pottering around.
So there's 10 cellar doors on the east coast.
Yep.
But interestingly, we produce about 24% of Tasmania's wine.
There you go.
Yep.
So you're punching above your weight.
Yes.
Yeah. Very nice. Oh,
Yep.
well, beautiful.
That's
Thanks.
cool.
Thanks very much.
No problems. Thank you.
Cheers.
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 Now back to the kitchen, and I'm doing a roast chicken to go with those duck fat potatoes that are in the oven. A really easy technique to change up your roast chicken is to butterfly it. So I'll go through the process of butterflying it, show you how to do it. I'm going to put together a little chili garlic rub to go on top of it, but you can come up with whatever rub that you want to put on yours. It can do something as simple as garlic, lemon and thyme if you want to, or you can just go a la natural and have your chicken roasted. It's always best to use the pan juices that come out to create a gravy or something like that. We can go through that a little bit later. So my chicken, turn it upside down so it's breast side down. And the back of the chicken, you've got the backbone. That's what we want to take out, that little bit there. So get your kitchen scissors and just cut either side of the backbone. And then we're going to take that backbone out. There's no meat on that, and this allows us to spread the chicken out and roast it in a butterfly style. All the way through. Other side, same thing. Turn your chicken back over so it's breast side up again, and then push down on the breast. And that'll break the other rib bones, and you'll end up with your chicken nice and flat. It also means that it's going to cook evenly now because we've spread everything out. Now try and tuck your little wing tips, so these bits, tuck them underneath the breast. Put that into my roasting tray. Now I want to put together my rub. I need a small bowl to mix it up. Chili flakes, about a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half. About a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Some oregano. Vinegar. Good pinch of salt. And some oil. And then I'm going to finely dice up some garlic to go in there as well. Mix all that up, and then we're going to rub it over the chicken. Some oil. Mix all that together. My garlic. Just want to dice this garlic. And then I'll pop that in. Dice garlic in. And the mix again. And then pour that on top of your chicken and just rub it all over the skin. Get everything nicely coated. Set your oven at about 180 degrees, and this will take about 45 minutes to cook. The chicken's about halfway through its cooking process, so I'm going to bring that out just so I can give it all that oil that's sort of started to mix together with the chicken fat. Give that a brush on top again, just so we get a nice coating of that rub on top of our chicken skin. So once you've done that, it can go back in Turn your oven tray around. It's probably got another 20 minutes to go, so it's about halfway through. Right, pop that back in for another 20 minutes. And our chicken will be done. We'll be able to serve that with our duck fat potatoes. So they're just finishing off, so they're about to come out. By the time they come out, we let them rest for a little bit and the chicken comes out, they'll be ready to go together. Potatoes are done. My chicken should be ready. Grab that out. Give that one last brush. And we can transfer that onto our board with our potatoes. Once you've given that a base, just allow it to sit and rest for about 10 minutes before you transfer it. There's going to be lots of moisture that's come out of the chicken that you want to go back in. So you've got to give it a good amount of time to rest. Now, it's not going to get cold. The pan's still nice and hot and the chicken's going to hold on to that temperature. So give it a good 10, even 15 minutes to rest and soak up all those juices again.